Thank you so much, all of you, for being here and for joining us on yet another snowy day in mid-Missouri. I looked at the forecast, and it's supposed to be below freezing for 6 days in a row, which, when that happens, like, I'm at the point where I'm trying to figure out who I can blame in this building for that. The answer is apparently no one, so I just end up very upset. But I really appreciate it. I know many of you have come in from all over the state, and I know you've done it in a way that it was not exactly easy to get here. But I think that speaks to the importance of the arts community in this state. It speaks to the passion that all of you have for what we're celebrating here today, and I appreciate that you're here. And frankly, it's fitting that we should be here in the Capitol to celebrate the arts community in our state. And this is one of the most beautiful capitals, state capitals in the country. You know, we're under work by Thomas Hart Benton as we sit here. We're a couple floors beneath the Hall of Famous Missourians, where there are, you know, sculpted busts of other artists like Mark Twain, Walt Disney. You can sort of insert here your favorite Rush Limbaugh joke, because that bust is up there as well, as far as the artists that we celebrate there. But usually secretaries of state don't have this opportunity to be here and speak at this annual event, so I really appreciate the opportunity to be the first one to have this privilege. And it's sort of a natural fit because, as many of you mentioned to me just a moment ago, you know, our office has the state archives, so as a result, our office is really tasked with preserving and protecting the cultural history and the heritage of our state, which, you know, frequently has a lot to do with our state's artists and our state's history. And so it's something that I care about a lot. It's something that is very important to this office. And frankly, it's all fine and good for politicians to brag about their support of the arts, and it's easy for politicians to do that. But at the end of the day, what you all know is that political rhetoric won't fund arts supporting programs around the state. That at the end of the day, it's money that funds programs that support the arts and support the preservation of our cultural history. Really, they're no different than roads or bridges. It takes funding to actually support the arts. Political rhetoric just won't get it done, and so I really appreciate that all of you are here. Many of you here probably all too well, you know the saga of the athletes and entertainers funding in this state. And if you don't, and I'll talk about it briefly, but this law, which was enacted in 1999, was created to ensure the funding of organizations that support the arts and that support the preservation of our cultural history, and it's done by taking a small percentage of the earnings that come from our professional athletes in the state and from our entertainers and putting it toward these funds. And so, for example, when Justin Timberlake performed in St. Louis this past November, a very small percentage of his income from that concert was earmarked for the Athletes and Entertainers Fund. So according to the law, Mr. Timberlake's contribution should be allocated in the following way: 60% to the Missouri Arts Council Trust Fund, which I imagine is very, very popular among the audience here today. 10% to the Missouri Humanities Council Trust Fund, 10% to the Missouri State Library Networking Fund, 10% to the Missouri Public Television and Broadcasting Corporation Special Fund, and then 10% to the Missouri Historic Preservation Fund. So it's nice to know that somebody like Justin Timberlake is a big supporter of arts and libraries and that sort of thing in Missouri. And the next time that you're trying to get your son or daughter to go to, say, an art exhibit and they're complaining, you just let them know that Justin Timberlake thinks that it's very cool and it's where they should be. So if we multiply Mr. Timberlake's contribution by all the professional athletes that show up in, say, St. Louis and Kansas City to play either for or against the Chiefs or the Rams or the Cardinals or the Royals, you end up with a potentially pretty robust fund through the A&E tax. But as we all know, that's not what really happens every year. In fact, the Missouri General Assembly has never fully funded the A&E tax. And so as a result, every year, in my opinion, organizations that are working very hard to preserve the history of this state, to preserve gifted artists in this state, make sure that they're able to do their work, those organizations often get shortchanged. And it's not as if what I'm talking about here is a request for a handout, right? Because what we're asking for is for the A&E fund to be funded at the amount that the statute originally envisioned, right? Is for it to be fully funded. And so I believe that if we do fully fund those 5 funds, then what we end up with is a state that is doing what the legislature intended for it to do when it passed the law in 1999. It's preserving our state's cultural history, and it's helping to make sure that we have artists in the state, gifted artists that can continue to thrive, and the organizations that support them can continue to thrive. Because when we support the arts, it's a lot more than just sort of that feel-good feeling. There's a very tangible effect. It's about neighborhoods and towns, and it's about cities and counties who are working to have a vibrant arts community. And that has obvious cultural benefits for our state, for our entire state, but it also, as all the people that I'm talking to now know, it has real economic benefits. It reaps real economic rewards for the state, and it's worth doing, and I appreciate that you're all here, and I hope that while you're here, you'll talk to members of the legislature about the importance of fully funding the A&E Fund. So, if you ever need an example of how important it is, you just look, frankly, at everything that today's 6 honorees have contributed to our communities. Free art programs for elementary school students in Joplin, a conservatory of music and dance that serves thousands of students, collaborates with community groups, and performs year-round. My hometown of Kansas City, I live in Columbia now, but my hometown of Kansas City, which has committed strongly to its booming arts community and whose mayor, my good friend, Sly James, has set an example, really, with his task force for the arts. Important works of public art, including busts in the Hall of Famous Missourians, just 2 floors above us, education and mentorship of tomorrow's arts professionals and visionaries at one of our country's most respected and critically acclaimed regional theaters, big city-level philanthropy in a smaller university town that supports both visual and performing arts that might, frankly, not otherwise survive. So to me, these honorees represent the best of Missouri, and it's our responsibility as citizens, as educators, as parents, and certainly as elected officials to do everything that we can to protect the efforts of people like these honorees, and that's what I'm focused on. And so, to wrap up, I would just want to thank you for inviting me today to join you in celebrating today's inspiring honorees. I do believe they truly represent the best of Missouri, and they're a reminder for all of us of the value of the expense that we can put in, and the time and the resources that we can put in to the arts community in our state, the value that it adds back. And I look forward to continuing to work with all of you to advocate for full funding of the arts community in Missouri. So thank you very much.
Hello. I'm Sharon B. Shore, a Missouri Arts Council board member, and it is my pleasure for the Missouri Arts Award for Arts Education to go to Margaret, Meg, Bourne, Hulsey from Joplin. In 2009, when she was 19, Meg Bourne was inspired to create art feeds by the needs of one little boy in the behavior disorder classroom where she was volunteering. Now, Art Feeds has brought creative education and healing art free of cost to more than 17,000 children in the Joplin area. As founder and executive director, Meg Bourne Hulsey continues to work tirelessly to help children overcome hardship to realize their potential. As a mobile art center, with a community of volunteer educators, Art Feeds conducts year-long weekly lessons with more than 4,000 elementary school students. That's a tremendous number. Through a therapeutic curriculum, the children explore painting, drawing, dancing, music, sculpting, writing, storytelling, photography, and more. Educators receive specialized training in trauma awareness. The program was invaluable when the 2011 tornado ripped through Joplin and is still helping children deal with the lasting effects. Art Feeds also provides summer workshops, creates public murals, and participates in Joplin's Third Thursday Art Walks and many other community special events. And they're a very special organization in Joplin, and they have quite a few of their supporters here. So Meg, would you come up, please?
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. And first, I just need to recognize I wouldn't be on this stage at all if it weren't for the Art Feeds board members kind of being sneaky and nominating me behind my back. So Vicki and Leah, who are here, thank you so much. I didn't have any idea until Sharon gave me the phone call, and it was a total surprise. I'm so humbled to do this. I'd also like to thank my parents because they first planted the seed of art and creativity in me, and it grew so fiercely that I couldn't help but share it with the kids I know now. When I was wondering about what I could say with this tremendous platform and how I could speak about children and their creativity and the value that it has, I was thinking about one of our board members' daughters who's 4 years old, and she has an imaginary friend. And the other day, our board member Heather recounted to us that she had to open the back door so that Sophie's imaginary friend could go out back and play. And I thought, man, I'm stuck in this Word document trying to get my thoughts on a page, and this child is creating a human with characteristics she can interact with and that she has befriended. So to me, that just speaks to the power of a child and their creativity. Children have a sense of wonder and understanding of the world that adults don't have, and to me, it is the most valuable resource that we can pour into. At Art Feeds, we believe that children have a greater capacity than adults to imagine, play, be innovative, take risks, and improve our world. Beginning with one little boy, I had a dream of an environment where all children weren't measured with the same measuring stick. The student that I started with when I was 19 years old wasn't valued. He didn't feel valued at home. His mother wasn't feeding him. He didn't feel valued in school because he wasn't necessarily good academically. However, when I put a paintbrush in his hands, it transformed him. He couldn't write his ABCs, but he could paint his ABCs, which is proof that the knowledge was there. He just needed a different avenue. He was brilliant with watercolors. Brilliant, but he didn't think that he was brilliant because he was being measured by standards that were different, that were only academic and weren't speaking to him as a whole child. So starting with him, the vision grew of an environment that we could create for students that allowed their creativity and innovation and the incredible thoughts they have to be valued in the classroom, where there's no wrong answers, only lots of creative solutions, where mental and emotional wellness through expression is valued on the same level as physical wellness. We wanted consistent lessons to create this atmosphere for students to thrive. So we built this thing from scratch. Art Feeds has thrived through the marriage of art in the education system with the support of a very powerful community where we mobilize educators to move into the classroom where no student is barred from receiving the programs. So it comes free of cost, and we're reaching students where they are every single day in school, so they're not barred for lack of transportation or the funds to be there. Over the course of the last 5 years with Art Feeds and the education system we've created, we've produced 5 murals that have been inspired by our students. We've done community dancing that the kids thought up that has actually brought me to tears. They've created installation art pieces, podcasts telling their stories, and so much more. So the reason why art is so important in the education system, an example I always think of is, raise your hand if you have children, or children you really care about, or children you ever gave a present to. Okay, excellent. So you know that if you give them a toy for Christmas, what do they play with? The box. That's right, because toys only have about 8 functions, but a box to a child has infinite possibilities. It can be an airplane, it can be a fort, it could be the Capitol, it can be anything they think of. This has been proven to us in our program. A couple of years ago, we had a student who we were making robots, so they had to create a story with these robots. And one of our especially perfectionist type students came up totally in tears. And he said, I do not have the parts for a robot here. So I said, well, what parts do you have? And he said, I have the parts for a train. Now, this is incredible. This is how our children should be thinking and should be encouraged to think, and arts and education is how we do this. We did a lesson last spring where we gave all our students boxes and did a lesson for the future. And we had so many incredible things that they invented with their boxes. You know, skyscrapers, time-traveling machines, typical cars that fly. But one student absolutely blew us away when she showed us that in the future her invention would be a cure for cancer. Now, this is why the arts are important in education, because in our classrooms, there is the student that can find a cure for cancer. There are engineers, there are inventors, there are film producers, there are writers, there are painters, there are dancers, and we need to create the environment where they can thrive. In 2013 alone, Art Feeds impacted over 7,000 children with our programs, and this certainly wasn't done by me alone. This is done by a group of people that work incredibly hard, tirelessly, I think it said in this description, in my description here. And my staff works tirelessly, and this could not be, this award would not be able to happen without them, so I'm going to embarrass them really quick. Joe, Marissa, and Brooke, will you please stand up? I need to give them a round of applause. Yes, yeah, it's not just me and 7,000 children for certain this year. So a favorite quote of mine is that we are obligated to our work, but we are not entitled to our fruits. So we certainly don't do the work we do for awards. So it's with humility that I accept this award as a fruit of our labor, only to use it as a catalyst to help more students in Joplin, in Missouri, and nationwide. Thank you.
Missouri Arts Award for the arts organizations goes to the University of Missouri, Kansas City Conservatory of Music and Dance. And accepting the award today is Peter Whitty, who is Dean of the Conservatory of Music and Dance. Performing arts education and scholarship, community outreach, and civic engagement made by the University of Missouri, Kansas City Conservatory of Music and Dance, both quote, one of the country's liveliest academies, unquote, by the New York Times, and a virtual partner on the city's flourishing arts scene. Every year, the conservatory provides the community with more than 300 performances, many free or low cost, of opera, jazz, chamber music, orchestral and choral music, ballet, and contemporary dance by faculty, students, and guest artists. The conservatory enrolls 550 students in an array of diverse undergraduate, graduate, and professional degree programs. Another 2,400 are reached through private lessons, clinics, and intensive summer programs via the Community Academy and Conservatory in the school programs. Ever since the conservatory was founded in 1906, faculty and alumni have created many Missouri arts institutions, including the Lyric Opera of Kansas City and the Kansas City Symphony. Community impact is poised to become even stronger in 2016 when UMKC's Performing Arts Campus moves downtown to the Crossroads Arts District. So again, we welcome the University of Missouri, Kansas City Conservatory of Music and Dance, and accepting the award is Peter Whitty.
Well, it's great to stand before you. On behalf of President Tim Wolf from the University of Missouri System, Chancellor Leo Morton at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, and Provost Gail Hackett, I stand before you representing more than 113 years worth of teachers, students, and community members, staff members who have made the arts central to Kansas City, central to Missouri. We have some 3,400 alumni throughout the world, more than 1,000 working here in Missouri, educating our citizens, educating our children, and making certain that the arts are central to our economy. Now, I'm preaching to the choir here. We know that in America, the arts are a $500 billion a year industry. Take it from the Wall Street Journal, take it from the Department of Commerce. We represent 3.2% of America's gross domestic product. We're worth listening to. We shape communities, and the Conservatory has certainly done that. We have helped found the Kansas City Symphony, its predecessor, the Kansas City Philharmonic, the Lyric Opera of Kansas City, the Kansas City Ballet. We now extend America's jazz tradition through the likes of Bobby Watson, who shapes our jazz program at UMKC. We have a rich choral tradition with Eve Ely and now Robert Bodie. We represent students from all 50 states, from 34 countries and 12 continents, and it is just a remarkable institution, and we are so honored to be part of this great state, to be a public institution that makes certain that the arts are part of a complete and total education, and to make certain that we extend Missouri's economy in all the right ways in the 21st century. So on behalf of the University of Missouri-Kansas City, I am grateful for this award, and I celebrate your achievements and that of the Missouri Arts Council. Thank you very much.
Okay, the Missouri Arts Award for the Creative Community goes to the City of Kansas City. The Creative Community, Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City arts and culture kicked into gear in the late 19th century and has flourished ever since. But from the turn into the 21st century, growth has soared with no limit in sight. The region is now home to more than 6,000 artists, a 33% hike since 2002, and over 250 arts organizations, which contribute $325 million to the region's economy. Spectacular new construction includes the block building of the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art and the Kaufman Center for the Performing Arts. The cultural scene has been a major reason cited in the many best ofs recognitions of the city has won over the past couple of years, such as making the list of the top cities in the world to visit by Forbes Travel's top 10 U.S. destinations, by Lonely Planet Best 50 American Cities by Business Week, and top 10 American downtowns by Forbes. The Kansas City Area Development Council's ongoing American Creative Crossroads campaign highlights the bedrock support by business and civic leadership essential to the creative boom. In 2013, the Mayor's Task Force on the Arts culminated 2 years of research and community outreach with an expansive strategy setting a new goal for the city's cultural future. Sorry, bad lighting. I'm struggling. Okay, thank you. And I wanted to introduce Peter again, Whitty, who is going to accept the award for the City of Kansas City.
Well, it's hard to substitute for Mayor Sly James. He is one of the great mayors in America and certainly a great champion for the arts in America. There has been, since 2000, an investment of some $2 billion in downtown Kansas City, $1.57 billion of which are in arts and cultural facilities. It is a transformation and a renaissance the world is speaking about. And of course, it starts with artists. Before there was the Kaufman Center for the Performing Arts, before there was the Todd Bollinger Center for Dance and Creativity, there was Kansas City's great jazz tradition, and there was the Bohemian district called Crossroads. Advanced some 15 years because it takes a long time for things to happen overnight, and you have a transformation the world is speaking about. It is a very, very powerful time for the arts in Kansas City, and it is because we have political leadership that understands that the arts are the right thing for neighborhoods, they're the right thing for children, and they are the right thing for economies. And as a result, Kansas City is on the rise. This year in March, the Los Angeles Philharmonic is coming to play Kansas City. Why? Because we have Helzberg Hall, and it is one of the great halls in the world on planet Earth, and they want to come check it out. And then next year, the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra comes and performs exactly in our vicinity. And of course, we speak about the traditions of Charlie Parker, of Virgil Thompson. We understand that things are really magical, and there's a through line from what happens in neighborhoods, diverse neighborhoods, across state lines and political lines. We understand that there's a through line from the classroom to the community to the museums and cultural institutions that make our cities terrific. And certainly Mayor James and Mayor Pro Tem Cindy Circo and Troy Schulte would be here if they weren't doing the important work of shoveling our streets. But they should be celebrated for being able to take care of the small details that we all expect, but also to really help our region and our state dream big, not just in a regional basis, but on a world basis. And it's a real treat to be in Kansas City. Thank you very much.
The Missouri Arts Award for Individual Artist goes to Sabra Toll-Meyer of Columbia. Lifelong Columbia resident Sabra Toll-Meyer started her career of bronze sculpting in her late 40s after rearing her children, and nearly 4 decades later continues to rack up achievements. She has created more than 70 works of public art in Missouri alone, and from busts of athletes at the Kansas City Chiefs Arrowhead Stadium to 56-foot-long sculpture murals at Columbia's historic Missouri Theater. At the Capitol in Jefferson City, she sculpted the Court of Discovery Monument on the grounds and 10 busts for the Hall of Famous Missourians. Several hundred of her works on scales from small to heroic are in private collections nationwide. Ms. Meyer taught the 10 years at Stevens College in Columbia and for 2 years at William Woods University in Fulton. She served for 2 terms in Columbia's Commission on the Arts. She has twice been honored by the University of Missouri in 2009 with Faculty Alumni Award from the Alumni Association in 2013 with the Distinguished Alumni Award from the College of Arts and Sciences. She is a founding member of the National Museum of Women in Arts in Washington, D.C. I am honored to offer the Missouri Arts Awards for Individual Artists to Sabra Toll-Meyer.
I am deeply honored, and I cannot thank the Arts Council Selection Committee enough for choosing me. This is truly the most wonderful thing that I believe has happened, other than my 4 children. I want to thank Kit and Kathy Salter, who are sitting there, who brought me in their red chariot, otherwise I wouldn't be here. To Judy Elliott, who proposed my name. To all my friends who have supported me through the years by buying my sculptures, encouraging me. My husband, who has encouraged me. And of course, my 4 children have helped set up exhibits, take me to exhibits, and I suppose maybe they are my greatest creations. I had a little help there, but in any case, I have so many friends and families that have helped me, and I am just deeply appreciative. For many years, I hoped for one outdoor single bronze figure. And Charlie Palmer might recognize this especially. When the Lewis and Clark Commission came about, all of a sudden, I think maybe you should be careful what you pray for, because I had 5 much larger than life sculptures to sculpt. But it's all worked out just wonderfully. I even have another large sculpture in progress that will be unveiled in Columbia on March 10th for MFA Incorporated. So life goes on, and I keep busy, and that's very important. And my deepest thanks again to everyone. Thanks so much.
The Missouri Arts Award for Leadership in the Arts goes to Peter Sargent of Webster Groves. New England native, Peter Sargent arrived in Missouri in 1966 and what was then Webster College to help found the Repertory Theater of St. Louis. He remains the Rep's resident lighting designer and has been Dean of the Leigh Gerdine College of Fine Arts at what is now Webster University since 1995. He created the university's Conservatory of Theater Arts and has nurtured it into becoming one of the country's premier theater education programs. A magnificent advocate for the arts and arts education, Mr. Sargent has devoted himself to training theater students and teachers in Missouri and nationally. He was the founding chair of the College Theater Council of Greater St. Louis and co-founder of the National Unified College Auditions and Midwest Theater Auditions. Among the many other organizations in which he has played or continues to play a leadership role in the St. Louis Black Repertory Theater, Young Audiences of St. Louis, Dance St. Louis, Shakespeare Festival of St. Louis, and the Arts Education Council, the Professional Theater Awards Council, and Insight Theater Company. Again, the Missouri Arts Award for Leadership in the Arts goes to Peter Sargent of Webster Grove, and unfortunately he is not able to be here, no doubt, because of the weather, but let us salute him. The Missouri Arts Award for Philanthropy, Dr. Terry Brewer of Rolla. That a rural city of 20,000 people in the foothills of the Ozarks has a vibrant, big city artistic life is largely due to the generous support, both financial and intellectual, that Dr. Terry Brewer has unfailingly given for decades of Rolla's artistic community. In 2012 alone, he underwrote Arts Rolla, the Rolla Town Band, Rolla Choral Arts Society, Fine Arts Day, Ozark Actors Theater, and the Leach Theater of the Missouri University of Science and Technology. Beyond Rolla, Dr. Brewer supports Art St. Louis, the Springfield Regional Arts Council, Springfield's annual Arts Fest, and Missouri State University's Traditional Instrumental Music of China program. Every year he brings the acclaimed Josh Thibault String Tour from Europe to Steelville for the Wine Cellar Concert. Dr. Brewer founded Brewer Science in 1981 to commercialize his discovery of anti-reflective coating, which revolutionized the global microelectronics industry. He has always integrated art, creativity, giving, and volunteering into the corporate culture for employees and the communities. As just one instant, the headquarters building is filled with Missouri and international artwork. Again, the award for philanthropic, for the Arts Award is Dr. Terry Brewer of Rolla.
Thank you all. This is really a very special award, and it's a surprise. And it's also a very humbling award. I've been in front of a lot of audiences giving a lot of talks, but every time I get in front of them, the audience usually made of engineers, and I'm usually talking about things like this. So today I'm not doing that. So for us, this is one of the most special awards I think that Brewer Science has ever received, and that is to be noted by the art community for our contribution. A lot of the credit to that goes to my wife, who is an artist. When Paul and I married, I could not recognize music with words from music without words. I couldn't tell the difference, and let alone artwork. But it's very interesting because we enjoyed long conversations before we were married. We enjoy long conversations now, and it's still the same subject. It's subject of creativity, imagination, innovation, and that bridges across all the disciplines. It's not about technology and science. It's not about imagination and art. It's about the creativity that runs fluid across all those areas. And so for us to get this award is really special. Like I said, we received a lot of awards in technology, but to get an award in art, I hope that it sends a message that we really can and do blend the two together. There are no silos, there are no divisions. There's imagination, there's creativity, there's many forms to express it. And it's been a joy today to meet the people here that have received these awards, and the Missouri Arts Council for having the vision to keep the arts community going in Missouri, and to encourage the people and the examples that you have here today. It's really amazing. I'm amazed. I'm really humbled by it, and it becomes one of the most special awards that our company has ever received. So thank you all very much for that. Thank you.
We thank you all for braving